Welcome, everyone. This is The Buzz, Studio W, The Buzz, your global radio network. Hey, we circle the globe 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with some of the finest broadcasting heard anywhere around the world. And welcome to the debut of Groove Swing Speaks. Groove Swing Speaks. I have my co host, LaToya Yvette. How are you?
Hello, hello, hello. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. And before we introduce our guests, I want to tell you why. And you and I, we discussed this at length sometime and a couple of weeks back, and we decided that we wanted to do a new show. It's a spinoff on Groove Talk Radio. You guys remember when we were located in California, we started Groove Talk Radio some 6, 7 years ago or so. And we were talking to grooves and some swings around the nation. And so the objective here is to bring more grooves and more swings and connect the dots, right? And with grooves and swings. It was hosted by Groove Brothers back then, but I decided with the spinoff, I wanted to have my sister here, one of my sisters here, and uh, LaToya Yvette. She was so kind and gracious to take the spot. So thank you so much for that, LaToya.
Thank
Um, Right. And I jump right on in because my idea was not only to connect the dots, but let the world know about grooves and swings and what we're doing to make our communities better, whether it's coming from voting rights, human rights, child development, education, voting. I did say voting, but practically anything, employment, vocations, education, and so forth. So it should be a very, very interesting program. So, Latoya, what would you like to share with the audience?
I'm just excited. I'm thankful for the opportunity. I really am excited about you starting it back up as far as and also incorporating us as sisters and us working together as an organization and letting people know what we're here, why we're here. We've been here, and we're not going anywhere. And so it's just wonderful.
Yep, and I'm absolutely excited. Now, would you like to introduce our guest?
Yes, I would love to introduce our guest. Our guest is none other than Yoshida Vinson. She is the owner and executive director of Ali Kids Camp. She is also a sister of Swing Five Swing Social Fellowship Incorporated. And she is also my line sister. She is my number one. So at this time, we're just going to let her.
Hello, Yashida. Hi. Unmute your mic.
I'm just over here talking. Hello, how y'all doing?
I saw your lips moving, right?
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. Hola, sis. Greetings, my
Hola.
brother.
Outstanding, outstanding. And we're going to allow you and ask that you share with the audience what you are doing. I understand that you're doing some magnificent things. Brother Robert Hicks, he's just joined us. Uh, the wild man, Howard Harris. Hey, Howard, how are you? Okay, I want you to start this off. And Yashida, we're anxious to hear about what you're doing. I've heard some magnificent things about you, magnificent, brother. But I want to kick this off because it is Black History Month, and I think that every month is Black History Month. But I just want to just share this with the audience before we get into the topics and what Yashida is doing for the community. When it comes to pioneers in African American history, names like Dr. Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks and Maya Angelou, James Baldwin, they come to mind. Also, Muhammad Ali are often mentioned, and rightfully so. But what do you know about other Black heroes like Claudette Colvin, Alice Coachman, or Shirley Chisholm? You guys remember her? You guys were too young to remember. You're too young to remember Shirley Chisholm, right? If their names don't immediately ring a bell, you're not alone. Educators, activists, and historians have long been attempting to shine a light and pinpoint why so much African American history is missing from our nation's curriculum. Okay?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, I think we understand
Yeah.
why. It should be
I
recognized. that a large part of Americans' notable history includes African American history, innovation, and creativity. Those that populated those colonies were free from communities in Africa with large scale civilizations that had tax systems, that had irrigation systems, that had universities that came from civilized nations that were advanced. Dana Ramy Berry, a University of Texas at Austin history professor, told NBC that's where the curriculum should begin. That's the biggest omission from his perspective. I'm going to stop right there because it is crucial that we do know our history. It is crucial, folks, and also for many reasons, not only from the knowledge standpoint, but also it can and will motivate our youth. They have no idea. And history, actually, and especially positive history, is a foundation to you propelling yourself into higher education and a better vocation and even a better life overall. So I'm going to be quiet for 1 second. LaToya, what's your take?
I do believe that we need to dig deeper. We need to teach our children definitely about our history, more than just what we learn in the textbooks. Um, and I say that from a personal standpoint because I remember doing book. I don't know, and I know they probably. I don't even know if they do this anymore. But however, I remember doing the book reports. You
Hmm.
read a book and you do a report on it in school.
Right.
And I remember I wanted to do a report on Shirley Temple.
Hmm.
You know the little girl with the little Caucasian little girl
Hmm. Uh-huh.
with the curls. Yeah. So I wanted to do a book report on her, and my cousin said, and I was upset with her. I didn't understand why I couldn't do my book report on her, and so she introduced me to some of our African American heroes, and one of them was Daniel Hell Williams.
Hmm.
And if you don't know who Daniel Hell Williams is, he um, was the first man to do the integrated hospital.
That's right.
He was a surgeon. I fell in love with medicine reading his story. He also actually died in the hospital. He was in a
He
car
did.
accident, and they took him to the nearest hospital, and that hospital didn't serve African Americans, so he died right there in the lobby. Um, so that changed, and I am medical is me. So I fell in love with medicine all because my aunt introduced me to something else other than what I was learning in class. So I
Wow.
feel like that's important.
That is a heavy story
Yeah, because we never
because
know who our children can be, what they can become, all because they find someone that looks like them that's
mm,
doing something that is interesting. They might not even be interested in it right then, but maybe that can spark an interest,
mm.
and that's what it did for me.
Yeah. So now, your field now, is it in medicine? It is in medicine.
It is medical. I actually work.
Medical.
I actually I have my CNA 1 and 2. I have my MA, which is medical assistant. I have my MOA, which is medical office administration. Um, and I actually work for an eye doctor, so I work
Hmm.
in the medical field.
Mhm. But I was inspired by your story because, but for your aunt telling you, say, "Hey, women are hold it." She gave you something that you could write on, and perhaps you didn't understand it right then, but you could write on, and now you got inspired by it. That's exactly the point that we're making right here, right now. Is that if we teach our children our history. Okay. And Daniel Hale Williams, I believe also, he invented or perfected blood plasma. Wasn't, I believe that's the same.
I
Blood
don't.
plasma, I believe.
I know he did
Hmm.
the first successful
Ah, yes.
heart.
I, I
I'm not
remember
sure
reading.
about the blood plasma, but look, I'm sitting here looking it up right now because
Hmm.
the story is not
I believe so.
good.
Well, while you're looking, and like I said, that was inspired by that. And so, if we teach our children, here's, oh wow, I didn't know because it it's a deeper meaning when they know, they can turn on somebody from another culture, and that will not. It might inspire them to do something, but for if knowing that their own culture, there are people in your own culture that have done that way before this other person, right? And they will say, "Whoa, okay." Not only would it inspire, but it will motivate them. Said, "Okay, they can do it. I can do it too." Yes.
Right. And actually, I just wanted to say I don't see, but he's widely known for the first African American cardiologist who
Mhm.
performed the first successful open heart surgery.
Okay, okay. Now there may be someone else that was black that discovered blood plasma, and but the stories seem so similar. So we'll get into that a little bit later on. But the point is that he is an American hero. Okay, and so look how many successful heart surgeries have taken place since he did that.
Right.
He
Right.
said, "Yep, that's right." I mean, so it didn't happen before that, so that's absolutely amazing, amazing. Yashida, let's talk to you a little bit. Okay,
Hello, hello
okay.
again.
Yeah, your take on what we were just talking about, and then we want to get into what you are actually doing, your vacation and your passion.
Yes, so kind of to elaborate on what you all were just speaking on, in dealing with children, you have to make sure representation matters, right? So
Hmm.
the more that they see people with the same skin tone, the more they can relate to different people with different careers, different businesses, or whatnot, they can more relate to that. For example, we had an author that actually visited my center this afternoon and read a book to the kids, and the story was about an African American veterinarian. So the kids began to ask questions like, oh, I can be me, my
Wow.
skin tone, I can be a veterinarian as well. So a lot of times, them seeing different people in different careers and different businesses, they can better relate to the veterinarian, a lawyer, a doctor, a nurse, a teacher, or what have you. So the more they see that. So I truly believe that representation matters, and making sure that they see themselves and who they want to be.
Absolutely, and let's tie that right into what you're doing. You mentioned that the author visited your center this afternoon. Exactly, what type of center is it? What do you do? And you're dealing with children, so please elaborate.
Yes. So I'm the owner of iLead Kids Camp. We are a school out program. So anytime that public school is out, they don't have school, then they can come to camp. So we have year-round camps. We offer
Mm,
before school care, after school care, track out, summer camp, teacher work day camp, and we're open most holidays. Like yesterday was President's Day. School was closed, but iLead Kids Camp was open.
mm.
So we offer year-round camps. We focus on science, technology, engineering, art, math, leadership, and civic engagement. And
That's
we
absolutely
service
incredible. I'm sorry. Let me get out of the way here. Continue.
we service children ages 5 to 13 years old.
Okay, Latoya.
That's awesome. I thought of, I know when you were asking me about sisters, I thought of Yoshida because I know one of our initiatives as in the organization of Swing Five Swing Social Fellowship Incorporated, and y'all might hear me say that a couple of times. Um, we're we're very much engaged with our children. Our children, we all know our children are our future. Like
Hmm.
one day we will be older, much older, and we're going to need our children. So it's important to pour in them today for our tomorrow. I know we say their tomorrow, but our tomorrow as well, because we work hand in hand. Right now, the baby boomers are getting older, and then we're the next in line. So then after us, we have to make sure that they're ready. And like she said, they see us in different facets and different work environments, and that we and that we just help them. So I'm excited of what Yashida is doing at Ali Kids Camp and working with our children and making sure that they are fed and nurtured, and not only just education wise, but in all areas. Because mental health is important, their mental well being is important, their physical is important, mm, and all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. When you and when we were discussing how we were going to format this program and what we wanted to do. We wanted to bring on people and professionals like Yashida. Because if you look at the entire United States and look at our two organizations, Groove 5 Group, founded at Morgan State in 1962. We're 61 years old now. October the 12th, as a matter of fact. Some brothers found that because they wanted an alternative to the traditional type of fraternity. We wanted to be, and we are different. I remember when we first started. When I first joined several years ago, uh, I was in college, and we did a lot of partying. We did a lot of. If you want to go to a party, you went to a groove party. You know, and then we sort of, and now I noticed that it's changed. Now we still throw a mean party, but there are more community building, more community development and education and a vision for the future. And I'm so proud of where our organization is going and where yours is going. And collectively, we talked about power in numbers, LaToya. We talked about that.
Right,
And
right,
collectively, can you imagine the force once we unite the nation and chapters from different parts of the world together, and they can come on, they have a platform to voice what they're doing or voice their opinions about something and talk about unity and building things of that nature.
right,
That's my vision for this program right here.
right.
Because we're doing things in our own individual chapters, own, pockets here, pockets there, but collectively, this can really, really make a difference.
Right. And I feel the same way. And also by other sisters and brothers coming on and speaking about what they have going on in their communities where they are, and how can we pitch in, and not only us, but other organizations. How can we all help each other, because it takes us to be together. I am the current president of the Raleigh Graduate Chapter that's located right here in Raleigh, North Carolina. However, there's Atlanta, there's South Carolina, there's Florida, ooh, there's Texas. There's a
Oh,
lot. Look,
right.
we are all over, and we must work together, because that's what we stand for. We stand for unity and working together, and not only just working together within the organization, but partnering with other organizations. So this is just a platform to let us know, like, and helping each other out in our own
Right.
endeavors. You know what I mean? Like, we have Yashida on right now, and we never know what she may need to further help what she's doing, which will further help our community. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think this is wonderful.
Thank you. And I tell you, I belonged to what I did before I moved out here. I was part of the Los Angeles grad chapter, and the brothers out there, they did a lot of mentoring of young men, and they will do this, and they're still doing it often, which I think is extremely important. There are so many young people out here that, let's say, for instance, they may not have a father or a mother, or let's say the mothers and fathers may not have that time because with the cost of living now, people are working more, and so who suffers for that? The child does. The child
Right.
suffers. So I am so happy that you guys are doing that, and we have grooves are from all over the place. Like I said, we have them from overseas. We have them uh, here. Click on your camera there, bro. Right here. Come on, right here. There we are. Joining set right now, my groove brother Craig Hunter. Hey, Craig.
Good afternoon. Good evening.
Yes,
How's
yes.
everyone doing today?
All right.
I'm better known as Game Changer. So
Okay,
to us,
grab your microphone over there and put your headset on. Okay. Hey, he says that. Oh, in case you guys didn't catch, he calls himself the game changer. Okay. Hey, Craig, we were just talking about the various organization, and you may have missed. Oh, okay. Let me see if I can fix that for you. But what you may have missed is that we have Sister Yoshida. Is that Vincent Yoshida?
Yes, that's correct. Yashida
Okay,
Vincent.
this is Brother Craig Hunter, and so can you kind of catch him up a little bit? He's late. Catch him up a little bit and let him know what you do and your what you're doing with your business.
Wow. So we are doing some amazing things at I Lead Kids Camp. It's a school age program. We offer year round camps for kids. We focus on science, technology, engineering, art, math, entrepreneurship, and civic engagement. We currently serve children ages 5 years old to 13 years old. So anytime traditional school is closed, we have a group of kids at our camp.
great, great.
Okay, Craig, bring your microphone a little bit closer. That one, the blue one. Yeah, bring that a little bit. It'll come closer. Okay, set it right here. You don't need that. Okay. So anyway, we're back, and also, Craig, we were talking about Black history, some heroes in Black history, and I talked to Craig uh, about this. I also talked to and Craig, you're the chapter president of what chapter?
I'm with the Virginia Union University graduate virtual graduate chapter.
Right, right. And Clayton isn't here. He'll be here next week. And Clayton is the president of what chapter?
He's the president of the Virginia State University virtual graduate chapter.
Okay. And we also
Basically,
have
the
a.
virtual graduate chapters with brothers who attended a certain university. They live in various regions of the United States, but they collectively come together to honor their chapter that they went over at, and they started the virtual chapter. So
Okay.
to keep brothers connected who actually they went to school with, and to interact and to involve their families with the organization as well.
Okay, very good, very good, very good. So, yeah, so we're going to move this thing right along, and I'd like for you, LaToya, to jump in right now and tell us about your chapter and some other things that your chapter is doing.
Okay, so my chapter is the Raleigh graduate chapter of Swing Five Swing Social Fellowship Incorporated. As I stated, right here in Raleigh, North Carolina. We are doing some amazing things. We also definitely partner with our chapter sister, VP Yashida Vincent, with Ali's Kids Camp. We also feed the homeless at Oak City Cares. We do coat drives. We do, oh my God, we partner with an organization called, I'm trying to think of the name. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to do all of this off the top of my head because I left my notes somewhere else when I was going. I made a whole list so I wouldn't forget nothing. Fathers Forever. They have a wonderful program. They do.
Mm,
They do. They send. They help other men coming out of the system, and try to get them acclimated back to their families,
mhm,
and also they have a book where they have you purchase the book from them, and then they send it to different um, incarceration centers, so prisons, jails, all of that stuff, just to keep them inspired, just to keep them, just to let them know that someone cares on the outside as well.
mhm,
We have some things coming up in the community as far as um, going and talking about gun safety, um, heavy on voting. We're heavy on mental health.
mhm,
As I stated before, the children. Whew, we got our hands. Look, we're busy over here, so I don't know.
mhm.
We got
You,
a lot
you
of stuff
men-
going on.
I love it. You mentioned something about voting. also, and I'm deep. I'm heavy with that too. And perhaps that's one thing that I would like to accomplish. Also, is to uh, make the nation aware, and us grooves and swings get together and create a voting drive, or so to speak, to get people out there to get to vote. Because I tell you, I think this upcoming election is one. They each year they say, and each term they say, this is the most important election of our lifetime, and I truly believe that this one is as well. And plus, we need to exercise our right to vote, because there are people that died so we could exercise our right to vote. Okay. Uh,
Correct.
let's not forget that as well. And I think Brother Robert Hicks, Robert, do me a favor, if you're still on. I believe that you are a patent officer as well. What I mean by that, you approve patents or you review patents, you know? And so that someone might be interested in that, you see.
Right.
And and this I remember several years ago, I became a stockbroker, and I was the only black stockbroker I knew. And I'm serious about it. And it hasn't been that long ago, been a few decades. But the point is, and I remember uh, going and graduating from Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley, you guys know Morgan Stanley Dean with him as a stockbroker. And there were in my class, my graduating class, there were 250 people there. There were 10 blacks. I said, wait a minute. We spend more money than anyone practically. Yes, we have less investments. Why is that? That's because we don't have the education and understand what it is to manage and grow your money. Okay.
Right.
You have people that coming out of school don't know how to balance a checkbook. Okay. Or even write a check.
Oh, I was about
Um,
to say write checks. I don't even think they teach that in school
they
anymore.
don't teach it
They do
anymore.
not.
I do not think they teach that in school.
They do not, but we teach it at iLead Kids Camp.
See, oh boy. Ishita, do us a favor. You mentioned so many wonderful things that you teach at your camp. Okay, and it's from ages 5 to 13.
Ages 5 to 13. So we focus on entrepreneurship, but we also teach basic skills, cursive writing, because of course they don't teach that in school either.
Yep.
Financial literacy. I have actually written an entrepreneurship workbook where students who are part of my entrepreneurship workshops, they actually receive a entrepreneurship workbook that helps them brainstorm business ideas, marketing, budgeting, all of the things. So yeah, we're doing great things at iLead Kids Camp.
Wow, you mentioned so many different things. And cursive writing was one thing that I wanted to mention as well. How many people can in school right now can do that?
Right now,
Right now, I mean, yeah, cursive writing. How many? No.
No,
Let me
I
ask
think
you.
I think maybe the seniors, like in
no,
high
I,
school.
I don't
No,
know.
they don't.
no.
Okay, so that means it stopped at my children then.
Yes.
Whoa.
In public schools, I believe it is stopped, but private schools, my daughter went to a private school,
Right.
and it was still a part of the curriculum at a private school.
I don't understand. That makes no sense. It
Yeah.
makes absolutely no sense. And
Now you can e-sign everything. So
you can. Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
I guess that's why they,
so
done
so
away.
so that means that you don't even know. You don't even need to write.
right. It's good to be able to write checks, but we need to teach these kids to save because they spend a lot.
Absolutely,
And we might be part of it as
you
parents
are part of
because
it, and not you. Perfect.
okay, all right, okay.
I didn't mean it.
Oh, okay. That's how we running this show today. All right, okay. We put some shots. Um, but I mean, it's important that kids learn how to save, and
That's
that's
true.
it,
Absolutely,
all the money they make.
and you're right, and the parents are the problem there, because they can say, okay, here's $5. You're gonna spend two, but you're gonna save three.
Hmm.
Take them down and open up a little savings account for them, and you keep the book, because they're smart enough now to find their way to the bank to make a
Yeah,
withdrawal.
and not many institutions does with the saving books anymore.
Right,
Maybe like a savings and loan. It's not too many of them because a lot of banks have
right,
bought and purchased a lot of the smaller institutions. But you can go and see, can you get some type of kids account?
right, right.
and able to get a monthly statement,
Oh, yeah,
a
of
paper
course.
statement versus something that more electronic now. That's all the bank's trying to do is paperless because it's cheaper for them.
Uh huh.
But if you get a kids account, they are required by law to have paper uh, slips where they can see where deposit slips and statements where they can see their money on paper.
Oh,
It
wow.
makes it different when it's tangible
Right.
to
Absolutely.
the children.
Well, I tell you what, my granddaughter, and I was surprised because, well, not surprised, but what happened, I opened up a savings account for her, and
Hmm.
I forgot what year it was. And she called me, her mom called me, I think, about 2 years ago now. She's a senior at Virginia State, by the way. Called me 2 years ago and and she said, "Hey, granddad, do you think I could get some money out of my account?" Now, I said, sure, I had forgotten all about it, that I had put that restriction on there. Nope, nope. Everything goes in, nothing comes out. And she needed it at that particular time while she was in college. So I was glad that we were able to do that. But you're right, Craig. We need to start teaching our kids how to save. Also, I tell you something else. It's not a bad idea to take your child to a broker and buy them a stock, buy
Stop.
them some stock. It's and the thing about it is, and especially if it's a good sound one, you have time that it can grow, and they can't touch it until they're older, like 50 years old. No, no, you
That's
don't
a
have to
great
wait. You don't have to wait that long.
that's a great Christmas gift though.
It is.
A stock purchase. When I was about 12, I think my uncle, instead of taking us to Disney World,
Uh huh.
he bought us some Disney stock.
Whoa.
Okay, everybody got one share,
Right.
but at the it's probably multiplied 20 times by now.
Of course it has.
But
Of
that's
course it
what we
has.
got for a Christmas gift.
Right, right. And see, the thing about it is, and I don't want to make this too complicated, thing like that, but you can buy a stock, and that stock can split. Meaning, you bought one now and split into two.
Hmm.
Okay, sometimes it does that. Okay, depends on the stock. But anyway, yes. So let's start talking about those types of things. And this is the platform where we're going to emphasize and reiterate things of that nature, the educational value of our children. You know, and and this LaToya was telling a story about when she was doing a book report, and the book report that her aunt asked her or made her do.
My cousin
Was it?
told me I was not gonna do my book report on Shirley Temple. She actually at the time was a nurse. So I went to school dressed up like I was a doctor. She had now I don't know what she got in scrubs from. Don't tell about. But I had scrubs. I had the things to cover my shoes. I was going in there looking like I was prepared to do surgery. And of course I got an A on my book report, but
Of
it just
course.
opened my eyes up to a whole new world. You know,
Okay. Okay.
other than and nothing to discredit none of the people that I'm about to list, but other than the Martin Luther King and the Harriet Tubman
I need an email address.
and Malcolm X. I learned about all of them in school, but I didn't
Uh
learn
huh.
about Daniel Hell Williams at
Right.
school.
And
I
she
learned about him, and it was Charles Drew who
the
did the plasma that you were talking
the
about.
blood of Charles Drew. Okay. 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 Absolutely. Okay. Thank you for so much for that. And but Charles Drew, I understand he died in the hospital too. He was in a bad car accident.
Yeah, and the only reason he died because he couldn't go to the White Hospital and he bled to death.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
They're trying to debunk that story, but but the thing about it, he did die, and because of the very thing that he couldn't get, that he invented. I mean, I think it's something of that nature. Okay, so we're
That's
going.
why it's important so for us to tell our own story.
Yeah, that's well. This is
That's
what we're talking about, and that's what we do here. And Latoya, I have an idea which I was going to do anyway. Like we opened this thing up, we talked about Black history and this type of. So I don't see why each of our segments going on going further that we do not bring up someone a Black hero of ours or historian or someone who contributed to society, and then we can delve into whatever it is, like uh, inventions. Look how many inventions that we have contributed to. I mean, have made, created. You know, we're going to have Robert Hicks on because I asked him to come on and talk about the patent industry, or how to obtain a patent if you want to invent something. I also want him to remind us of how patents were stolen from our people, or maybe not allowed to get a patent. Depends on where you were. They changed the rules to fit their narrative. You see, but
Right.
yeah, oh, absolutely, there's no question about it. And so I'm gonna get back to Yashida. Oh, Glenn, I mean, sorry, Craig. You have all this paper here. What is that all about?
Well, you asked me to do some research on Black history, and I told you I wanted to focus on some local persons from the Richmond, Virginia area.
Okay.
So I have three people here that I wanted to share today, if you will.
Oh,
I have John Mitchell. I
okay.
have Oliver Hill. He's an attorney. And I have Maggie Lena Walker.
That's the high school I went to.
I went to high school at Maggie Walker.
Did you finish? I'm just joking.
That's the second shot he's throwing at me, LaToya. Second shot.
Now that was a good one though, but I mean, I'm just.
That's the second shot. And I'm the co-host. That's why they call me the game changer.
The game
Go
changer.
ahead.
Craig, game changer.
That's right.
No, go and finish, my brother.
All right, so let's start with John Mitchell. John Mitchell Jr. was born enslaved 1 year post the American Civil War. So he was born as a slave, and he became a newspaper editor.
Wow.
Born enslaved, became a newspaper editor. You can look his name up, John Mitchell Jr., and he was famous for the Richmond Planet, which was a local newspaper here in Richmond, Virginia, in the Jackson Ward area. Richmond was also had a Black Wall Street, and it was 2nd Street.
Mm-hmm.
To verify that, Magdalena Walker, who was born in Richmond, Virginia, was the first female president. And this is how history get told when the other side tell it. She was the first Black or African American woman to serve as a bank president. She was the first woman in the United States to be served as a bank president, Black or white. That's why we need to tell our own story.
Yes.
She was the largest employer of Black women in the state of Virginia during her time. That's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's powerful. Madam C.J. Walker did it down south with the hair products.
Mm-hmm. First Black millionaire.
She did it. Magdalena Walker did it behind Black women to run various things in the business sector, like banking. She had a benevolent fund for insurance because you needed insurance to even get somebody buried in the state of Virginia. I don't know about other states. And then we can follow what Oliver Hill. I don't know if any of you know about Oliver Hill. The Brown versus the Board of Education should come up to a mind. He went to law school at Howard University with Thurgood Marshall, and he fought along Thurgood Marshall with the Brown versus the Board of Education. One of the things that he and Thurgood Marshall did together, which was his idea, I don't know if you remember about the dog. They had a black child, they put a white dog, and they put a black dog,
Mm-hmm.
and the child went to the white dog.
Mm-hmm.
That was Oliver Hill's idea to kind of show how racism affected kids growing up because they thought they was being taught that black was bad.
Mm-hmm.
So they wanted the white dog. This was a black child.
Wow.
And my daughter, I only had one, never had a white dog.
Of course not.
Never had a white dog.
I never told my kids about Santa Claus.
Oh.
I tell you, that's the worst thing I ever did. Told my mom I wasn't no Santa Claus because Christmas won't the same. Christmas won't the same the next year. Tell you that. I didn't want no more toys.
I wasn't teaching that.
Want no more toys. I should have kept my mouth shut.
They still got the toys.
Well, I didn't get.
No,
more
no.
toys.
You opened
I
your
told them
mouth.
want no more Santa Claus. Want no more toys.
Well, you told the truth.
I got $50. That was it.
What else do you have, brother?
All right, so that's it. And I was going to elaborate a little more, but I don't want to take too much of the show. We can dive into it a little later. But these are the three people. They can look them up if they want. It's all on Wikipedia. Oliver Hill, he was an attorney. Maggie L. Walker.
Hmm.
Sometimes they get them mixed up with Madam C.J. Walker.
Right,
And then John Mitchell Jr.
right.
So
What
one was an editor, one was a bank president, the other one was an attorney, all from the Richmond, Virginia area. So it was a lot of history and in the same general area of Jackson Ward, which is known as the Black Wall Street of the Richmond, Virginia area.
You know, I'm glad you said that because see, a lot of people think that the only Wall Street was in Oklahoma, the only Black Wall Street that was in Oklahoma. Do you know that it was over? And I believe somebody fact checked me though, but I believe there were over 128 Black Wall Streets throughout this country. All right, and they were destroyed one way or the other. We know what happened. That tragedy that happened in Oklahoma. Over 300 blacks were killed. They had businesses, and the white people were jealous. They were jealous of that, so they came and burnt the thing down. And it was all because of a falsehood that a white woman said that this black guy was looking at her. See, this is crazy. This is crazy. And so I'm telling you, that's why we need to also bring ourselves together, get out and vote, okay? Because see, a lot of people want to reverse. They want to go back. They want to go back and bring things back the way they used to be. You see? And they saying the quiet part out loud now. The sheets have come off, and they're coming out with a vengeance. So that's why it's important. Like Martin Luther King, we can do this non-violently,
For
you
sure.
know, and we should do it non-violently because it will last that way. Okay, it will last that way. And look at the impact that that man made. And I believe, well, he was in his 30s too when he got assassinated. 38, am I
Right.
right?
Yeah.
About 38 years old.
The key to it is just to inform and educate. You
That's
just
it.
got to continue to send a message, continue to watch those series like Black History Month. They show the Eye on the Prize documentaries. I think
Hmm.
it's like 8 of them. They should be showing that on BET and these black stations all the time.
Uh-huh. Well,
Don't wait till Black History Month and you want to
To dig
illustrate
all around.
experience. Do it a
right,
Right.
lot.
right. Well, Yashida and LaToya, you ask yourself the question: what's wrong with telling the real history out here instead of a watered down version of history? And I get furious because I'm thinking, and I don't know whether it's mandatory now. Yashida, maybe you can answer that. In high school, do you have to have history in order to graduate? I know it used to be. You had to pass history. It
Yes,
was
you do, but it's their history.
see. So that means that I have to learn a lie in order to pass.
Absolutely.
See, I mean, everybody should be furious about that. You should be furious about that. You are being indoctrinated and taught. That's because that's not education. If it's a lie, it's not education.
That is correct, but also
Go
we
on,
have to
please.
educate the parents. Like the parents need to know what the curriculum is.
Uh
They
huh.
they're not even aware of what's being taught. So we
Right.
also have to educate the parents, like what's being taught in history class.
Right.
It,
Absolutely.
it starts there as well. You know,
Right.
we have to work with the parents just as much as we work with the children.
Okay.
Do you find there's a difference in young people that have a single parent household versus both parents in the home?
I see some differences. However, I also see households with both parents where there are issues as well. So it's really not just single moms, single dads. Um, Households with two parents, um, there's a breakdown as well. For whatever reason, there's
Okay.
also a breakdown. Like I've experienced children. Let's just say a child with behavior issues.
Mm-hmm.
There's a large or high percentage of children with behavior issues who has a father in the home.
Okay. And
So there,
the more I guess the family, the larger the family, does that have something to do with it as well? Maybe if it's a family of five versus a family of three.
Not necessarily. And I'm
Okay.
just saying my experience. I've experienced children who are the only child with both parents in the homes, and both parents are, um, careers, college educated, and all of the
Hmm.
things. But there's
Hmm.
still some type of breakdown when it comes to the children.
Hmm.
I've
Hmm.
seen it. I've been in
Right.
education for over 25 years.
Right, right. You know what I noticed because we've had many shows on this, and for instance, on my one of my shows on Sundays called the Boomerang Radio Show, and we talk about education, we talk about child development, we talk about a host of different things. We talk about a host of different things. Like I said, it could go from anything from politics to education to a lot. Hey, my brother Mark Daniels there. Mark, how are you, my friend?
Hey, I had a few minutes. I'm going to come in and say good evening. How you doing, brother?
Hey, great man. Hey, look, I'm excited about this. And Mark Daniels, he's a groove brother of mine. I was in California, and I had the pleasure of pledging this brother. And he's been just a fantastic. He is a fantastic person. Mark, we talked about a couple of different things, and I want you to meet my co-host LaToya, Yvette,
Hello, Mark.
Hey,
and
how are you?
How are
and
you?
our
Greetings.
and our
Good.
guest, Yashida Vincent.
Yes, good evening, ma'am.
All right.
Greetings.
And then my brother here, Craig Hunter,
Alias the game changer.
the game changer.
There you
I'm
go.
sorry about that, Craig. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
What's
What's up, bro? Mark? How you
going
feeling?
on, brother? I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing
Well,
well.
Mark is in Houston, Texas right now, I believe. Mark is
Yes,
in Houston, and he was in Moreno Valley. Was it Moreno Valley, California?
yes,
Okay, and that's where I met Mark. Okay, we were part of. I think he still is part of the uh, LA grad chapter. And so we're talking about various things. And Yoshida has a very interesting uh, business. Okay. And Yoshida, the name of your camp, the name of your camp.
I lead kids camp.
Right, right. And she's doing some wonderful things. And I can see that you're educating your children the right way. And Mark, we were talking about Black history and we're talking about history in general and how right now children are forced to read or to learn and pass on falsehoods. And I mean, I don't know how it strikes everybody else, but that's just, I cringe when I hear that. I really cringe because what are you really teaching them? And we understand based on why uh, our history is being left out of so many books. We know exactly why they are doing it. Because if you're not educating people, if you're not motivating them, and like Yashida so aptly put, that when our children see people like them that are successful, they are likely to be motivated. And Yashida, I think that like Craig was asking you a few questions about why some children are they don't learn or they're out of hand or out of control, and it could be a host of different things. It could be a mental issue. It could be something that, or it could be a dysfunction in the home, even though it's one child. It could be neglect in the home, even though there's one child. You could have parents that really aren't that concerned. They expect the teachers to do the parenting, you know, and they really don't enforce the child that for the child to sit down and learn. Give you an example. One of my hosts on Sundays, she's a judge. She's a family court judge, right? And her son, his Eddie, and he's getting ready to graduate, and I know he's a straight A student. And I remember, oh, he's also a co-host on one of my platforms called Teens Talk Truth. You know, and you see, perhaps maybe on a Saturday you could have some of your scholars that come on a Saturday to chime in on that broadcast. Okay,
Yes, that would be
yeah,
awesome.
I,
Yes.
I would love that. I would love that. And what I'm proud of is that I offered two brothers that position after my other host had graduated. And they came in about 5 years ago. They were at the ages of 12 and 15 at the time. And now here, 5 years later, they are pros. I mean, they know how to conduct an interview. They know how to ask the proper questions, and they'll have authors on. They will have last week. Let's see who they have doctors on there. They will have educators on there, and they go through a whole host of questions with these. And so I am proud of that, and I'm so proud of them. But we have to instill. Oh, and by the way, my host, her son, he a couple of years ago, he was sick, and he was better that Saturday. So he came on. He said, "Oh man," and I don't know how the conversation started, but he said, "I couldn't go to school this week, and I'm upset. I love school. I love learning." And he reads.
Good.
You've got adults that don't read, but his parents put that in him at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so anyway, I'm gonna step aside. Hey, Mark, tell us a little bit about what LA Grad is doing.
You know what? Actually, in all honesty, with me being out here in Houston, I've been more involved with the Missouri City Grad chapter at this point.
Okay.
Um, I know LA Grad is doing a lot of community service, and they're getting involved also with some educational things that they're trying to become a part of and partner with, from what I understand
Mm-hmm.
at this time. Uh, down here in Houston, they're very much involved in that right now. They've got programs going where they've got some basketball camps going along, and they're doing some mentoring programs. They're getting ready to get involved with a program down at NRG Stadium that I understand is coming up here pretty soon. So they're very much into educating and trying to mentor, young children. One thing that you had spoke on, and you were wondering how so many things are left out for the black children when it comes to the education part of it. And for me, growing up in Ohio and West Virginia as a child, I got a lot of my black history from my great grandmothers.
Mm-hmm.
They would sit and they would tell me various situations and things that not only that they experienced, but what their parents had experienced, and so on and so on. And the first time that I really saw significance of this was, when Roots first came on. And, my mother made me watch that. My great grandmother sat there and made me watch that, and to give me the significance of what's happening. And a lot of times, this isn't something that they want to put into the schools, because they don't want, in a lot of ways, they don't want the children to know this is realistically where this country was and still is. I know they say there's a lot of diversity that's out there now and things that's happening. And maybe, hey, there's a little change. I always say they kind of band-aided it up. But at the end of the day, we're still black. We're still black. That doesn't change.
Mm.
And the children have a right to know that. And I think the other problem you have when it comes within the homes is at this point, a lot of times you have in my opinion, you have a lot of young kids raising kids. And you also put yourself in a position where I'm seeing, going into your 40s and things like that, where you're having, especially mothers that are raising grandkids now.
Mm-hmm.
And and somewhere there's, that disconnect somehow continues. And it's rather, well, the father's trying to get himself together, the mom is trying to get herself together. And it leaves gaps. And in the end, the only person that ends up being victimized by this is the kids.
That's right.
And that is something as a whole that I think people really need to grab hold of and understand where we are at. I mean, the format of teaching history and things of that nature right now, especially with Black history, and I got to get off here because I'm at work, but I want to finish this out, is that they only tell these kids what they want them to know.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have a base where, whether it's your family, your church, whatever. I know my dad, he's 91 years old. He's a deacon in his church in Ohio. And he's still, during Black History Month, he gives a forum. And they can't wait for him to give this forum because he's real with it. Even a few curse words come out, but he sits down and he breaks it down for them.
Right.
And that's what coming up. That's what I was taught. Union. William, you and I both went to Virginia Union, and when I went back a couple years ago, it was devastating for me because I was all excited going down Lombardi, and not in a bad way. I'm just being realistic. That area was always African American,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm driving down the street and I see a white guy come out with a dog. I said, "Wait, what's going on here?"
Mm-hmm.
And as I got to the campus and I got to speaking, a gentleman said, a lot of these, homes that were here when you were going to school, maybe the people have passed on, left them to their kids. Kids didn't pay property tax on them. Kids didn't,
Mm.
they were offered a little bit of money up from VCU because they
Yep.
want to take that area. And, a lot of black communities now, they got the area that they want.
Mhm.
and it seems like instead of us saying no, we hold on to ours. A lot of times we sell out to it. The
That's
money,
right.
the money looks good. Is this? Is that? And it irritates me because I'm like, when do we ever get to be in a position where we can say that what we have is sacred
Hmm.
instead of letting everybody infiltrate it?
That's right. That's right.
And that becomes for me. That's a serious problem.
Absolutely. I tell you what, I remember when it first started happening here in Richmond, and those of you who know the Richmond area, it's divided north, south, east, and west. And on the east side, it was called Church Hill. And there were a lot of homes up in that Church Hill area. And these homes were brick homes, some two-story homes out there. And uh, white people came in, offered, like you said, Mark, black people a little bit of money. And when I say a little bit of money, those homes right now are worth what, $400,000, 500,000, Craig, at least.
At
And
least a half
I think they
million.
probably bought them for 25 to 50,000.
Oh,
Wow.
Do the math.
yeah, and they're colonial style homes, especially over there by Union. Them ones there's still some beautiful homes,
Beautiful homes,
and it's I look at this and I'm like, God, can we ever get
real
that
brick
into
homes.
something?
Yeah, I'm not talking about brick veneer. Brick. You guys know what brick homes are. You
Yeah,
know,
they were limestone. A lot of them built out of limestone,
limestone.
beautiful houses.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so
It's,
this is the whole idea. So we were talking earlier, Mark, also about Craig brought up a valuable point about teaching our children to save. We need to teach them how to read. We need to teach them how to save. We also need to learn our history so we can teach them the history because don't count on the school system to do it because they are leaving it out. Yashida, you know this. LaToya, Craig, you know this. They are doing it on purpose. I said a long time ago, and I remember learning in history that it was illegal for black people to read at one time. And I was reading that. I said, "What? Wait a minute, hold it." Now this cat tries to tell me that I'm inferior to him, right?
mhm.
If no, and I used to always think about things. I've been known to be a thinker, and I said, now, if I'm inferior, why does it matter if I do read? Because if you're superior to me, you're gonna beat me anyway, right? Wrong, and he knows the answer to that. He knows that. You educate us, man. I tell you, and this is why we do this show. Latoya and I, we said we really want to do this, and I'm learning something right now. This is our first day, our debut. And can you imagine? We got people like Mark, we got people like Craig, my brother Robert Hicks is listening. Okay, we're going to talk about everything on this network. We'll be on each and every Tuesday at 4 p.m. on the West Coast, 7 p.m. on the East. All right, so 7 p.m. on the East Coast. So please share with your friends because it's going to be an experience. It's going to be an education experience. It's going to be an inspiring experience and a motivating experience. Okay, so let's take this journey together. My brother Clayton was asking a question, and I hope I'm understanding this correctly. And he says, "Why do the children in Florida need permission to listen to a black author?" Anybody know anything about that? Clayton, I want you to clarify that a little bit because I do know was Amanda Gorman. Now, this doesn't answer your question, but the poet laureate. Oh, they took her books out of the library there.
Yeah, she was the laureate at the inauguration.
That's exactly right.
Right.
Brilliant,
Joe Biden. Yes.
absolutely brilliant.
Yes. She was.
So, Latoya, I know you saw. I know you heard that poem, and Yashid, I know you heard that poem. Why in the world? Okay, I'm just going to ask you. What was offensive about that poem? What was ah negative about that poem? What did you see a problem with that poem at all? LaToya, you first.
Rashida, you want to go first?
To be honest, I'm not sure what their problem was with the poem, but I do know you're right. They were pulling books from school libraries, but that particular poem, I'm not sure what the issue was.
Yeah, I mean, LaToya, do you have a take on that?
I, I let me see. How can I say? How can I say this? Because I'm not really sure what the issue was. Um, However, I do know that sometimes when we have things, when we're doing things, people can just find an issue with it just because it's us.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. You know, I tell you what I took from the poem was a sense of, and I think what she was saying, folks, let's unite. I think it was a poem, in my opinion, of unity coming together. Now, if you notice, the only way the enemy can beat you is to divide and conquer. That's why that's why you see so much division. And people have to realize that you've got these puppeteers or these puppeteers, and society is the puppet. People and they're, they're going to make me want to hate you, or and it doesn't matter. Uh, they want black people to hate white people, and us to hate Chinese and whatever. Because if people united, okay, then we start looking at what's going on at the very top. It's an old trick, folks, and I'm serious. And it is complicated to pull off, but it's really simple in its concept if you think about it. And that's the whole idea. The people, the one percenters, the five percenters, they want a divided country. They want a divided world. Okay, they do not want people paying attention to what's going on at the top, because otherwise things will not be. They can't have instead of having 10, $15 billion, they'll only have maybe one or two.
Well, another thing is the foundation of the black community in the past was the black church. That's where a lot of your
Uh
people
oh.
got together.
Okay.
Okay, okay. Wait, again,
Uh-oh. Break it
that's where
down.
your leaders in your community and
Uh huh.
people gathered to talk about things. People like famous pastors and preachers and politicians would come to speak at the black church.
Uh huh.
Okay,
Okay.
just like now, you only see some of these politicians running in today's society when they come to speak at the black church right before election.
That's right.
You don't see it. They don't give a hoot or an S about the black community
I agree.
once the vote is counted.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so
Absolutely.
their street looks nice.
Uh huh.
Take a few blocks over to the right, take a few miles down to the left, and look through some of them other communities that's probably maybe 2 or 3 miles from the street they
Mm-hmm.
live on, and you would think you're in a whole different city.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm. Oh, Clayton just answered the question.
what do you say?
Remember, he posed the question: why do the children in Florida need permission to listen to a black author? He already knew the answer. Recently, Florida schools had asked parents for permission to have a black author to read to their children. Come on.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that on the news. That
Let me repeat that.
may have been on the news.
Recently, these people have gone nuts. LaToya, Rashida,
But we have also allowed it.
you have a what? Repeat that.
I said, but we have also allowed them to.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Because when it comes out time, because I tell you what happens here. There was, I remember there is a back in November. I had this educator on one of my shows. Oh, it's called Cultural Excellence and Music, Art, Entertainment, Education, and Business. Right, and I had this educator that was running for. I hear some noise in the background somewhere. Okay, I heard, and I had this educator on, and in my opinion, based on the other candidates, she was heads and shoulders. better. I mean, she was the most qualified person on that was running. Okay, most qualified. Uh, the others, and did you guys already know this? Do you know to be on school board, you don't have to have any knowledge about budgeting, about education, or hiring, firing, and that's all part of the school board. Okay, expenditures and things of that nature. You don't have to have qualifications for any of those things to run for school board. Did you know that? And when?
No, I didn't know that. Now
Oh,
that
absolutely. Now you think about this. You got a moron in charge of the budget. How do you think that's going to work out for you? You got somebody who's uneducated, but the head of the educational committee. All right. Okay.
right.
And when you think of the curriculum, also you have someone who's never hired anybody in their life. Okay. And they're in charge of personnel. How do you think these things are going to work? How are they going to work out? Yet this lady lost the election because her opponent had more money than she did. Now, this woman has been in education for over 30 years, holds a doctorate degree, associate dean at the college. Okay. She's taught everything from grade school all the way up to college. Yet she was not elected. The person with the most money won. This is the problem we're having, folks. This is the main problem. So that's how you make a change, and we have to make it at the grassroots level. We talk about the presidency, but folks, I'm gonna tell you something. These local elections may be
Matter.
more important.
That,
Okay,
that's where it really matters. I mean, not saying that the president doesn't matter, but your local, that's
absolutely,
where it matters.
absolutely.
But do they even teach that in school anymore?
What government?
About the electoral college and all of that?
I
Does
don't
somebody
know.
teach that in school? Okay.
Yeah, is she to do they? Do they teach about the electoral college?
Yes, they do. But I think as a whole, we focus more on the presidential elections. And like
Mm-hmm.
LaToya was saying, we do not focus on our local elections, which
Mm-hmm.
our local elections is what affects us directly, right?
That's right.
So the emphasis are not put on that. We hype up the presidential election, but what about your local elections? So again, it comes back to educating ourselves on what's important, and that's where the breakdown is. We're not educated as a people on what's important.
Hmm.
Right.
Well, that's why this platform, Mark, and also Greg, is so vitally important because this is what we're going to do each and every week. We're going to bring you some information, bring a little bit of education during this short period of time. Bring you something. At least we can jumpstart this whole process and say, oh, well, maybe I do need to pay attention to this. Oh, well, I want to learn about this. We might have someone on here that it has a vocation that may spark your interest or that you're interested in. That's why it's important to bring grooves and swings from every walk of life all over the country because all of our experiences may be similar in a way, but they are all different in their own way.
Well, let me say this, William, real quick before I go. When it comes to the local election, I feel like it's more important for this reason.
Okay.
When that person is running for local office, he'll come to your church. Sometimes he'll come in your neighborhood, walk through your neighborhood, even sit on your porch, might even have a glass of tea with you or whatever. See, when you sit and you tell me what your plans are and how you're going to make it better in my community, uh, and you sit and you express that, see, now I'm going to have access to you because, see, you still live there. And,
Right.
if you don't live up to what you're saying, there's an opportunity. You're going to have to answer to some. You're going to have to answer. Whereas when you get on the national election, the president, once they get your vote, they don't care about what you think.
Right.
And we're in a local standard, it does matter because at that point, you don't keep your promise. You don't do what you're supposed to. You got to live with us. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got some explaining to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't just pull the wool over someone's eyes when it's on a local level. But like you said, sometimes palms get greased and things happen,
Yep.
and that takes it to a whole different arena that I wouldn't even want to get involved with because The one thing we don't control is a person can sit in your face, just like when Trump won the first election, and you had so many people. Oh yeah, I ain't no way I'm voting for him. Hey, when they got behind those curtains, a whole lot of things changed. And those same people that were smiling at you, telling you one thing, trust me, when they got behind that curtain, it was a whole different story.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yep.
Absolutely. You know,
So
I tell you what, there is a young black politician. Well, he's going to run, and I don't have his name. I was watching on Facebook earlier today. He's 21 years old, and he's in Georgia somewhere, right? And he was at this church, okay, and he's staunch Republican, and he's talking the same junk that these Marjorie Taylor Greene and Jim Jordan and all those clowns are talking right there. And this is a young black dude, and and he's talking, and it's a bald head pastor. He's up there, yes sir, brother, go on and talk. And this guy, he's talking like he's a young black preacher, right? Whatever it is. Come to
mm,
find out that he's been raising money, right? And I think he raised something like $170,000, and he ran on a platform that somewhere, I believe it was in Georgia. I need to somebody fact check me on this, and I'll get it all together. But anyway, he was supposed to be raising money because his town was devastated by hurricanes or floods or whatever it was, and he was oh no, it was during COVID, and he was raising money, and he was supposed to be giving it back to some of these black businesses, right? And come and find out that he raised 170, $180,000, and he gave 10,000 to the black business, and he pocketed the other 170.
That sounds like Santos. You sure you're not talking about the guy in New York? That sounds like Santos. What he did in New York.
Let's put it like that.
He said he won't go get his money back.
No, and he's up there preaching talking like he's so righteous and all this kind of other stuff. And so there's so many other things. Also, if we work on our local elections, then we might be able to cut out some of this gerrymandering that's going on. Redistricting. Folks, there's so many dirty tricks out here that is absolutely incredible. So if we were able to get even equal representation on a local level, then guess what? Then maybe we might have a fair election where if they put Craig over there in the white area and a whole bunch of other brothers over there and put me over here, then you just diluted my vote. You
Right.
see, you just diluted my vote. Oh, and I don't even see now. This is the problem I also have with the federal government. Why are they letting this go on? Why are they letting this go on? They know what's happening. Now, in some cases, they've been in some states here recently that's been overturned where some people try to do it. Do it everywhere and get rid of that electoral college. How in the world are you tell me I'm gonna win the popular vote, but I lost in electoral college? Now, electoral college was 500 plus people, 512 or whatever that is. So you mean to tell me that these 500 knuckleheads are going to decide what goes on? Why even have a popular vote if you're going to go by the electoral college anyway? Why have the electoral college? Let's get rid of it. It should have been banned a long time ago, or dispersed or disbanded a long time ago. LaToya?
It's not going to happen as long as the Republicans have a say so.
Well, when the Democrats had to say so, they still didn't get rid of it.
But because it's, they're in the minority.
Now
and it keeps them in the files with gerrymandering. I think Democrats have won 58% of the popular votes in the elections. However, as far as seats in Congress, especially in the House, I'm speaking of the House.
Man, yeah,
You see
dysfunctional
what's
house.
happening in the House.
Oh, I see what's
still have
happening.
The majority in the House. We won 58%,
Right.
but they still have the majority. Something is wrong.
It's something that's definitely wrong. And I tell you, and like we said, the local elections are very important. And as far as the Senate and the Congress is concerned, wow, boy, that's a whole nother story.
Right. So then
Victoria, I
that
don't
means,
want
so
go
then
ahead,
that
Victoria.
so then that means that it's very not only important for us, but it's important for our children.
Absolutely, because those laws that they pass,
The
once they're on
education.
the books, once those laws are on the books, it is hard, if ever, for them to come off.
Right.
It's hard for them to come off. It is absolutely incredible.
And I know
Eh,
you asked a question earlier. You were saying how, well, you were asking, why is it hard for us to tell the truth about our story? And it
uh-huh.
goes with anything and in a whole lot of stories. Um, we live in a time now where we don't. It's easily to offend someone. We
Hmm.
don't want to offend. We want to fit in. We don't want to um, cause a rift. We want to be in harmony, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't live in harmony and love each other and support each other, but confrontate all confrontation isn't bad.
Yeah,
Sometimes
absolutely.
you need a little confrontation to get some, you know,
Get
I
somebody's
mean,
attention.
you need a little to get things going.
I
You
couldn't
know,
agree more.
yes, like you said, and we all agree. Yes, the peace is good. Martin Luther King talked about that, and we're going to march in peace, and we're going to be in peace, and we're not going to do nonviolent. But at the same time, you have your Malcolm X, and you're saying, okay, by any means necessary, ma'am. You know what I mean? So
Right? Absolutely.
I think
Absolutely.
that's where everything comes from, and it's us just being honest,
Right, right, right.
just having a
Oh,
platform to be honest,
absolutely, absolutely. Oh,
because
let's
the
do the
truth is the truth. You know what I mean? I mean, it is either it is or it isn't. You know what I
it
mean?
is.
So
Yeah, I said it all. Yeah, there's no gray area. There is no gray area. That's where we get stuck in that gray area. Oh, look, uh, wow, Yoshida had to leave. She had to jump off, and I want to state again, Yoshida, if you're still listening, thank you so much, and for what you do. I think what you're doing is highly is extremely valuable. You know, teaching our kids, and you teaching our kids some things that they aren't learning. They are not learning in our public schools, and she's open when the schools aren't. And 2 years in a row, I think she got what, best summer camp award in
correct,
22 and in 23. Best
correct.
summer camp award, outstanding, outstanding. Oh, by the News and Observer.
What state is that?
Oh, she's in North Carolina, right?
North
North
Carolina.
Carolina, Raleigh,
Okay.
North
In the
Carolina.
Raleigh
Raleigh.
area.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And let's see. And you, if you want to reach her, I believe her website is www.ileadkidscamp.com. www.ileadkidscamp.com. All right.
Correct.
Okay. Oh wow. Thanks, Mark. Mark has to go also. Wow. Hey, is there anything else, Craig? Or because I think we might wrap this segment up right now. And Latoya, is anything you like to say in closing?
LaToya, you can go
Um,
first.
I was gonna let you go first.
Okay, okay. Well,
Age,
we just need
look,
to.
age before beauty.
I like that. I like that. I like that. That was creative. That was creative. That was creative. That was creative. All right. Look, I'm gonna get some sleep tonight. By next week,
Uh-oh.
Okay.
What are you trying to say?
yeah, that
Game
beauty
changer.
gonna come. Right.
I'm gonna give you a run
Um,
for your money. So
I
go
hear
ahead.
you. I hear you, baby. I hear you. So we need to find a way where we can channel all the brothers and sisters that at least know about this network
Right.
and about this podcast. So we can get all the brothers at least to have some knowledge that it exists. The word can spread. It's up to them whether they may have the time. I know we're all busy in our different worlds, but we can at least look at it, listen to it, if we can't look at it while we're doing other things. But
Right.
the thing we want to do is just let the brothers and sisters know that this podcast does exist.
It's not a podcast, it's a broadcast.
Okay, broadcast. I said broadcast.
You said
I
podcast.
said broadcast. See, I'm the game changer. If I said broadcast, I did say podcast.
He did.
But this broadcast exists. And
Right.
it's an opportunity for us to network, share some ideas,
Hmm.
and we can interact with one another.
Right.
And that's what we need. And I think if we can keep this moving forward from this day positive with some good positive energy, the word will get out.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. This is our first one, and I'm excited about it. And in the last 80 87 minutes or so. I think a lot of really good information was disseminated. I think we achieved our objective here. LaToya, you are excellent, and I really uh, love Yashida and what she's doing. And we've got other brothers and sisters that's going to come on. Look, we've got brothers and sisters from around the nation. So each week, I'm sure we're going to have someone on, or
Yes.
we're going to have something here of value to our audience. So I'm not even concerned about that part. But I'm just glad that we did the first one, so we have an idea of how this thing is going to work for us. And anyone who's listening to us right now, whether you north, south, east, or west, share it with your friends. Please share it with your friends. Now, this particular show will be on the website in about 24 hours. You can go to Studio W.Buzz. Look under archive shows. Archived shows. I still might put it on the podcast too, since I have a section for podcasts
You
as
do
well.
have a section for podcast?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, you won't make me out a liar.
You
Okay,
right.
I got you. But I had one friend that she had a problem getting on the show, and we may have to do some troubleshooting to people that may have some problems trying
Okay.
to connect. And that was my good friend, Tanya McCoy. Tanya McCoy, if you didn't get on today, well, make sure you get on next Tuesday.
Okay. As a matter of fact,
She used to be past president of Swing Five Swing.
right.
Love you, Tanya.
Hey, woman, didn't you tell me that you know Rock?
Yeah, I know Rock.
Rock said excellent show.
That's what Rock said.
And
She saw me on that. Rock, what's up?
She didn't say anything about Craig excellent show. She didn't say that. She just
She
said
didn't.
excellent show.
No.
Rocky didn't say that.
She said excellent show. She didn't mention your name.
Keep reading. Keep reading.
I'm gonna do that.
Keep reading.
There's nothing else to read, Craig.
Let me see.
Tanya, LaToya, I'm sorry.
No, you're
We're
fine.
just having fun.
Yes. LaToya, in closing, what would you like to share?
I just would like to say that before I close, though, I just cannot get off of here and not mention the first Black mayor of Raleigh, North Carolina, which is Clarence Everett Lightner, which is also my chapter sister's father. I just want to throw that in there.
Oh, okay.
Which is also my other line sister's grandfather.
Okay.
So I can't, since you threw out,
Right. Well, perhaps we can get him on the program one day.
Yes, we could definitely get his daughter or his granddaughter that maybe they would like to talk.
Yes, let's do that. And these are your line sisters?
Well, my line sister is his granddaughter.
Okay.
And my chapter sister is his daughter, Deborah Lighter.
Outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's do that.
But I just want to say that I'm grateful for this platform. I'm grateful that we'll have an opportunity to speak to brothers and sisters around the world, and also not even just brothers and sisters, but just other people who are in our communities.
Absolutely. And we do want
to see what we can do, see how we can help, to continue to help, because we are doing excellent things out here, and to let everybody know that we're here and we're not going anywhere.
LaToya, will you be on next week?
Yeah. Are you gonna be here next week?
I'm gonna try my best to
Wait a
be here
minute,
next week.
hold. You already said before that you're gonna be here next week.
That's what you said.
I'm gonna be here next
You
week.
said you're gonna get some sleep, so you'll be here next week.
But
Yeah.
my question is it any way that we can find out what's going on and make a report about St. Aug? I understand that they're in some financial trouble.
That's the next thing I'm working on as well. So you are good to go. I do know trying to set up some things to have a beautification day.
Okay.
Meaning, trying to set up to clean up the campus, feed the kids, just do what we can. So
Right.
we'll have more next week. But yes, working on that actually. Well,
Right.
as we speak.
Okay. Yeah. Let's expound on that. Let's expound on that next week and talk about it, because this is what we want to do. And that's the whole idea of this platform, for us all to come together as a unit, north, south, east west. I know I said that before. Bring all the grooves and swings together here, and throughout the year, we're going to have different grooves, different swings, different people with different vocations and different experiences, and whatever it is. It can be anything from music to politics, or whatever contributions. We'll bring it all to the storehouse. Let's look at this as the storehouse right here, and this is what we're going to do. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Groove Swing Speaks. I want to thank my co-host again, the lovely LaToya, Yvette, and my co-host Craig. Man, it's been a pleasure, brother.
Been a pleasure. And that's why they call me the game changer. Your show just went skyrocketed, man.
Is that right?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.